right, Mr. Hudson. So our very first episode of Keeping It Legal.
What up? What up? What up? How are you doing? Yeah, this is wonderful. Something we talked about and we executed pretty fast. So I'm one of those people. I like to execute, and I'm impulsive, and the fact that we talked about it and a few days later we're here, keeping it legal.
I'm proud. Excited. Are you proud?
I'm very happy. I'm excited.
I'm really proud. I'm wondering though, like, what is it that you want our listeners to get from this podcast?
Yeah, that's a good question. So with this podcast, I will want our viewers to be able to get to know us.
Yeah.
I think that we have unique stories.
True.
There are people that share our stories, certainly, but we have... Our stories are unique in the sense that not too many people will be able to relate to us, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity for us to share our stories to the world and for
help somebody
and help people at the same time. You know, like I said, we're gonna have legal sessions to where we're educating our viewers or tackling certain legal issues, and we're gonna keep it legal.
Nice. So, I mean, I must ask, I don't know if, you share the same sentiments, but have you always liked the law?
Yeah, perhaps I should do a little bit of it. Perhaps we should do a little bit of an introduction.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Before we get into the law, so as you may infer from what Shantae is saying, my name is Hugh Hudson. I am a lawyer. I founded a law firm in Durham, North Carolina, the Hudson Law Group. At the Hudson Law Group, we practice primarily in immigration. I've been doing immigration for about 6 years. As of recent, I've ventured off into other areas of the law, so I'm now taking on personal injury cases and some civil litigation. I could go on all day, but I'll point it back over to you for you to introduce yourself to the camera.
Really could go on all day, but no, you do really good work, I must say.
Well,
you really do good work, and that is why I found a space here. I graduated law school in Jamaica, migrated here, got married, started a family, and now I'm back in law school because the system here doesn't allow me to just readily sit the bar. So now I have to be qualified. But apart from that, I am also an intern at the Hudson Law Group.
I got her. So I identify with your story. I too from the Caribbean. I was born and raised in Guyana. Came to the U.S. Migrated to the U.S. with my family. And like you, I'm in Durham, North Carolina, of all places. So maybe it was destiny.
That right? But going back to my question, have you always liked the law? Because for me, it's like a love-hate relationship.
So no, I haven't liked the law. This is a funny story, but I was interested in sports. I wanted to work in sports. Right? In high school, I played some football, soccer. I also wrestled a little bit. So then I came to this country when I was 15, right? So I came and I was thrown into high school. Didn't really know too much about the culture. And then I decided to go to college just because I felt like it was the next best thing to do.
That's the Caribbean mom saying,
yes,
college.
Exactly. I didn't have a choice. It was college because that's what everyone was taught to do. So I was in college in year 2. I was a sophomore in college, and I was thinking, man, I want to become a sports agent. Right. So I was just kind of aimlessly thinking about ways to make that happen. So I stumbled into my advisor's office, and we were kind of just trying to strategize on how I could become an agent. And she said, you can think about going to law school. A lot of agents are lawyers. And then a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, yes, I could go to law school. And I kid you not, from that, my first 2 years of college, I was a C, B at best student. Because I was kind of like, purposely just going to class. But since once we had that conversation, I got all A's from there on out, and then from that moment on, I found like the thing that I wanted to do. Still wanted to work in sports, but I felt like being a lawyer is what I needed to do. What you
really wanted to do. And you're really good at it, I must say. Like, having been your client and now working for you, like, you're really good at it, Well, and you can tell that you have a genuine love for for what you do.
I do, and that's why I practice in immigration, because I'm an immigrant. Before I get to why I practice in immigration, so let me finish telling you the story about the sports. So I wanted to go to law school to become a sports agent. I then got into law school. I actually started networking. I met with, at that point, he was the president of the Bobcats, the now Charlotte Hornets. This is basketball, NBA basketball team. I met with him, and he kind of mentored me for a little bit. And I realized how difficult it is to even get into that industry. It's a very lucrative industry, but you have to have money. A lot of people that work in the sports agency arena are like sons or third generation individuals whose parents or grandparents, you're well-connected individual that's already been in the industry. So difficult for somebody like me to make it, being a young black person with no money. So then in my head, I was like, what's the next best thing? And then I identify with immigration. I'm an immigrant myself. I have a passion for immigrants and immigration, and that's why I ended up in immigration. But as far as going back to your question, as far as me being good at it, I'm driven by my passion. My passion is to see people succeed. Immigration, I identify with that demographic because I am an immigrant, right? So I just have a passion for what I do.
Yeah, and I can tell that, your clients are well pleased, because I like hearing some of the comments that people pass, like, after their case is finished or even during their case. You can tell that, they're well pleased. You're doing the community very well.
Well, thank you.
Not to pat your shoulder, but pat.
She knows I like to talk about myself. I'm just kidding. I don't like to talk about myself, but yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Hill.
Me and her have a lot of these conversations where she's appreciative of who I am, and I think that's why she wanted to come and be around the firm, and now she's interning. And she also has a passion for what we do. Not only just immigration, she has a passion for the law. She has a passion for helping people, even more importantly. So it's been a pleasure having you around here. Hopefully we can get you, to be here more. Because I have a lot of work to do with the current climate that's immigration. It's keeping us busy, to say the least.
Well, I'm wondering if episode 1 is too much of a if it's too soon for us to deep dive into the current climate, the current political climate and social climate here in America,
Yeah, that's a toxic area, so that probably requires a lot of planning. Like we were saying earlier, this was thrown together. But certainly we can talk about the topic of immigration. I have plenty of stories to tell. Been doing this for 7 years. I've seen it and done it all pretty much. So as we build our community together, we can make it interactive, where we respond to questions from our viewers, and I'll be happy to share some of my experience and have some fun.
That's good.
All right, so I got a question for you. Let me play host for a little bit. So what is one thing that I know you're young with the Hudson Law Group, what is one thing you're looking forward to, both with the Hudson Law Group and also in the field of immigration?
That's a good question. Well, I think,
and that's on the spot, guys. We didn't plan this.
Nothing is planned. This was very spontaneous. One thing with the Hudson Law Group, I would say mentorship, because as I said, you have worked in not only immigration but vast areas of the law in totality, and I really feel like I could garner a lot from your mentorship, through law school and even after when I start to practice. So from the Hudson Law Group, I would say mentorship. I think that's my thing that I'm working on right now. I really want to hone my craft. I want to be good at what I do, and I really feel like with mentorship experience, the little I've been getting here, I think I'll be very well in that field. So I think mentorship for that. The law. The question was the law.
Yeah, another thing that you're excited about the law.
Well, as you shared, I'm very passionate about helping people, and being an immigrant myself, I have other persons in my family that not even my family, just a lot of people in my social group that would benefit from me learning the law and advocating on their behalf. So I really feel like I really feel like I can help a lot of people, you know, not only friends, families, but even strangers. You know, I like the look on people's face when you have solved the problem and you're helping them and they've got what they want.
Yeah.
Like the other day when we had a client meeting and, you know, we were having discussion and it was like a light bulb moment, you know, like, aha, you understand, you're going to help me, you're going to, you know, I like that. I really, really like that.
Yeah, and that's good. And preparation kind of it helps with that. The more knowledgeable you are, the more you're prepared, the more often you'll see those kind of light bulb moments with the clients, because you're able to take their issue, you're able to analyze it, and then you can be able to spit out a solution all at the same time, right? And I'm excited to mentor you as well. I am a little bit informal, which I think works for the type of people that I work with, right? Because people like to be understood. They like to understand what the lawyer is speaking. Yes, I could throw some legalese out there, but I keep those for court. When I'm speaking to my clients, my Caribbean clients, and clients from all over the world, it's important that they understand what I'm saying. So I could speak like them in their language or their type of tone, and so they can understand me. And then I break down the law and I give them a solution or potential solution, and that's one of the biggest compliments that I get when I meet with clients, is that how knowledgeable I am. There's a lot of knowledgeable attorneys, but a lot of attorneys, when they talk to clients or potential clients, what they're saying go over the clients' heads, right? Because some of them try to be more impressive than they actually are. True. That's not my goal. I'm well versed right now in immigration, but when I first started, I didn't know every area of immigration. Immigration is very wide, but I was humble enough and transparent enough where when I needed to do an additional research, or I wasn't quite familiar with a particular area, like I would let the client know. Like I would let them know that this is what I believe needs to happen, but let me just do a little bit more research and I'll get back to you. What I do is not about money. It's about seeing the satisfaction.
I see that too. I really see that too. Like, you know, I see how you're not afraid to learn, you know, even in areas that, you know, because immigration, I'm sure is very vast. Yes. And even in areas that you're not like an expert in, I've seen you say, you know, let me take a minute, let me like read and come back to you and get the answer. So yeah, I've seen that.
I do that less now because I've seen it all, like I said. But immigration, I practice in all areas of immigration. Most lawyers, immigration lawyers and law firm, they'll pick either family immigration, where they will
like they specialize.
Yeah, specialize in green card application for marriages. I do plenty of those. I also do a lot of asylum, as you know, that's some of the cases that you've been working on. I also do employment. I don't know any law firm that does family and employment immigration. It's either or. Right? So I do a lot of employment.
And plus you're starting personal injury.
And then I'm also doing some, I also have a few personal injury cases as well that I'm working on. So I am constantly getting better. I am not afraid to learn. Matter of fact, I love learning because at the end of the day, you know, me being able to affect as many people's lives as possible is what I'm about.
What's one thing you would say to like a mentee right now who is on the brink of like giving up in law school? Like it's too hard, it's too tough. What's one thing that you would say to like keep them going?
Well, if I had gotten that mentee before she went to law school, I'd probably say don't go.
That's not good at all.
But no, seriously, law school is tough.
It is.
So anybody that's at the brink of giving up, which we all have, law school is brutal. I don't cry too often, but I cried a couple times in law school. It's very tough. But you have to look on the bright side, right? You always want to set short-term goals, right? And if you're in a law school, your short-term goal may be to conquer the particular topic that you're struggling with. You may be struggling with, you know, criminal proceedings or constitutional law, and that is what's driving your frustration, right? So you want to conquer that. So short-term goal should be to maybe get an A or B for that semester, or even on a test. But it's 3 long years, but with short-term goals, you'll be there sooner than later. And also always evaluate the reason why you're in the position, the reason why you went to law school is because you have an end goal, right? Your end goal is not to struggle forever in law school. That's just the process you need to go through. But think about you being on the other side of law school, where you're able to impact other people's lives and really see the look on people's faces when you solve their problems and you're winning cases. So you were gonna have tough times. Other than sucking it up, I'll tell you everything else I just told you. It is what it is. Life is tough.
You're right. Yeah. Having worked at a human rights firm and now being here at with the Hudson Law Group, I don't know if it's just the atmosphere, but I don't know, I have a newfound love for the law, because before I was just like doing my 9 to 5,
It is the atmosphere, because
there we go.
I do. This is me talking about myself, but no. So one thing I do realize, and like I said, this is what clients compliment me a lot about.
Yeah.
Is I am my ability to simplify things, right? You have to simplify the complex issues in your head, right? And then once you can simplify it, you can make it fun, because at the end of the day, you can take the most complex theory, if you know it in your head, it's just as 1, 2, 3, and then you put it all together, right? So I try to make, with the Hudson Law Group, we try to have a relaxed environment. This is probably your first time seeing me with a suit, right? Because I'm that relaxed. I'm Caribbean, I'm an island boy, so I show up in some flip-flops and basketball shorts.
He really does.
And it is what it is. Like, my work speaks for itself. Yeah. So we have that kind of environment here at the Hudson Law Group, so it's not meant to be stressed, even though we're in a stressful environment. We have to do what we have to do to
some of these clients can get very stressful. But yes, I always get it done.
So I'm glad you're having fun. I hope I don't burn you out, because it's, I always tell people, like, no one calls a lawyer unless their life is in some kind of desperate need for or some kind of trouble, right? You don't go see a doctor or a lawyer unless you need help, right? So people come to us with their problems. We're responsible to fix their problems.
On the topic of burnout, so I know for me, I really like, I'm an outdoors girl, so I like, walks, trails, parks. I like being outdoors. What is one thing you do to, like, relax and to woosah and to bring it back together? Because as you said, law can be quite consuming. You know what I mean? It can be quite consuming, and if you let this consume you, I think you'll be over it.
So I'll tell you one word that I do. What you have to do, you will learn this, and this is why I've been ignoring your texts.
Right. Let's get on the topic of ignoring texts, right? Mr. Hugh has a bad habit, right? A really bad habit of not responding on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But Monday, he's gonna respond 7 o'clock in the morning, bright and early, like you just texted him. And I'm like, sir, what about the file? What about the case? And nothing, just up in the air.
So that's what I do. That's part of what I do. So you have to compartmentalize. I've been doing this long enough, so I know when there's a certain time, I set a mental shut off clock in my head, and once I leave or once that clock goes off, I'm done, right? Because if I answer your text, I have to go on the computer to find the file that you're asking for, and then once I'm there, then I see a different case that I need to work on, and there may be a deadline that I jumped up in my head. Now I have to go do work, right? And as much as I like what I do, as much as I want to advocate for everybody as possible, there's still me, the human being, right? And then I could fall apart. The industry of lawyers, or the law industry, has the highest rates of drug abuse and people that have strokes, that suffer strokes, because stress because of the stress. It's toxic, it's hard, it's difficult. So you have to learn to compartmentalize or do drugs. And I don't do drugs, so I have to compartmentalize. I also I like spending time with my family. I also am somewhat religious, right? By somewhat, I mean I'm not a big church goer, but I seek God, so I pray, meditate, and those kind of things to kind of keep me grounded, because you could lose it easily being in a high environment. Not only I practice law, I run a business. I have to manage my clients. I have to manage my employees. Each one of those is a full-time job. and I do it all, and it's always things going through my head. So I have to learn how to ignore it all, even the employees. I just ignore them all.
I fall into it. Okay. But yeah, I understand. I really understand what you're saying. That's good advice.
If you ever checking in on me and say, hi, how are you? I'll respond to that.
Sir.
But don't ask me about the clients or files.
It's important. Like, these things are, like, the deadlines are coming up.
Yes.
So that's why, we're stressing it. I'm stressing it because, me, always on time.
Yeah.
Trying to always meet the
I appreciate your hard work. I can't wait to get you to a place where you're independent and you can actually not text me, but you can come into the office on Sunday all day if you would like to and just work.
It's covered.
But yeah, so that's how I kind of keep myself sane.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot, but no complaints, man. It is what it is. I love it.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So, what do you think the topic we should touch on for our second episode?
So we can even talk a little bit about it today and then leading into the second episode. But one of the first areas that I've been training you've been working in is asylum. Right? I have done bunch of asylum cases, a lot, and I kind of throw you into the deep end on a few of them. So we can, feel free to talk a little bit about asylum. Yeah. We can transition into the next episode.
Sure. So not knowing anything about immigration and coming in and just, falling into the asylum, I love it. I don't know. Love every aspect of it, the passion, that, the stories behind it, just the build up to see, people wanting to, the reason why people want to seek asylum. It's so, I don't know. It's just so entertaining to me. I don't know. I'm so engrossed. I love it. One of my favorite cases, I don't know if we can say anybody's name.
We cannot. Please
can't. Okay. So yeah, but
we can talk scenario. We can do hypothetical.
One of my one of my favorite takeaways. Well, one of my takeaways, I should say, not favorite, but one of my takeaways is how difficult it is to win an asylum case without a lawyer. Having read all these cases and having met a few of the clients and really do my own, read on my own and stuff like that, I can see that it's important to have a lawyer because traversing this is very tricky.
Yeah.
And the laws are forever changing, especially in the current climate,
Immigration, unlike pretty much all other areas of the law, it's not, most of it isn't laws, it's more so policies. And these policies are controlled by the executive branch, and the executive branch is the president. And being that it's a policy, the president has unilateral power to change it, right? And presidents do. They have a lot of that's going on right now, where every day there is something else that's changing in immigration.
Yeah.
But yes, asylums are, I'm glad you like it because it's probably the most heart-wrenching area of immigration law. Asylees are refugees, people who are in desperate situations and that are fleeing desperate situations and pleading to the U.S. government for help. Asylums are very, very strict as far as their requirements. They have elements, and you have to meet those elements. There are not too many nuances that you could argue, but it's very, very difficult. To win an asylum case with a lawyer is very difficult. Without the lawyer, pretty much it's not likely to happen. But like I said, if you can run over that area, I'll be happy to give you all of the asylum cases because it's very difficult. Because you feel, as a human being, you feel bad for some of these individuals
some of the
and what
stories,
they go through.
You're like, wow,
Yeah, but if you all want, next week we're gonna open up the episode 2. We're gonna go through particular elements of asylum.
Yeah.
I have some very good and intriguing stories. I'll tell you all about some of the asylum cases that I've won.
Nice.
I've had a lot of success with asylums. And I'll get more specific next week. Next episode could be tomorrow. Who knows? We kind of like doing this.
Yeah. I feel like that's good. I feel like they could learn a lot I could learn a lot as well, you know, from what you have to share. And I feel like I can also assist with imparting some knowledge. Look at that. Aren't you proud?
I am very happy. I'm very proud. You have me in a suit today, but I can't promise y'all next week I'll be, you know, next time I'll be in a suit. But, you know, it's all good. I'm excited for this new venture.
I am too.
We're going to build together. We're going to build a community together. And like I said, again, we're going to impart some legal knowledge. Today was more of a get to know us. We're just, you know, hanging out, having a good time. But we can get into some more. We will get into some more legal content. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. And let's not forget that personal injury as well. I could learn a lot in that area. Absolutely. You know, because that's also a vast area.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very lucrative. It's very competitive as well, but I am finding myself, you know, I'm getting into it. I kind of like it as well, but you know, between now and the next time you see us, if you need help, if you need any immigration help, any personal injury help, feel free to reach out. Again, the name of my firm is Hudson Law Group. The office number, I said no, off the top of my head, is 919-251 8876, and reach out to us and book a consultation so we can talk. Yeah. You got anything else to say to the people before we leave?
Well, thanks for tuning in. You know, thanks for taking the time to listen to us. I'm excited about this. You know,
me too. I
really am excited. I hope to see you guys next week. Tune in. Next week we'll be right here, same place.
Yes. Have a good one.
Thanks, Mr. Hudson.